guys, this is Lala Legacy, and welcome back to another episode of Cinderella Phenomenon. So let's jump right back in. I feel that there was more to do, I feel that there was more to do, to what Delora and Parfait wanted to say to me, but I cannot stand to hear it right now. I walk into the clearing and sit against a tree, furiously rubbing at my eyes as I try to clear my dangerously watery eyes. Showing emotion is weak. I sit there for a long time in the clearing, trying to calm myself. My thoughts spin wildly out of control. Princess! I see him out of the corner of my eyes, standing between two trees, his eyebrows knit together with worry. What? You were listening? Listening? No. I just came to look for you in your room, and when I came downstairs, Parfait told me that you had run out into the forest. May I sit next to you? I say nothing as he walks over to me. He sits down beside me, his hands resting on his knees as he looks up at the canopies of trees. Thank you for today, Princess, for coming after me and trying to make things right. I am not in the mood to talk about this right now. My thoughts are too scrambled. Sometimes truths are hard. How do you know it was the truth? A feeling. Trusting people is hard sometimes, I understand. He looks at me, and his eyes seem to glimmer softly in the moonlight. Would you like someone to listen to your problems, Princess? Remain silent. My problems? Why would he want to know about my problems? I understand what it's like, Princess, to have a secret stuck inside of you. To want to keep things to yourself because you're worried that something will prove you wrong, or that someone will prove you wrong. But you can always talk to me about it. Why are you so interested in my problems? I told you before that the best thing you can do is to listen to a person, and that's how you learn to sympathize. Besides, I honestly care about you. I will always listen to you, Princess. Rumpel slowly reaches out to rest his hand on top of mine. I sit up straight and stare at him, my eyes wide. Rumpel smiles at me, a slow, soft smile that crinkles the edges of his eyes. Seeing such a beautiful lady close to tears makes my heart break, you know. But if you ever need to cry, you should. Tears aren't weakness, they're just a form of expression, and even the strongest of us cry. I am not going to cry! My mind reels, and then I start to feel fuzzy. Definitely the Ice Princess. The title startles me out of my thoughts. I stare at him pointedly, beginning to grimace, but Rumpel just smiles. I always thought it was a delicate name, suitable for a strong and beautiful woman. Seeing you like this, it makes me realize that the name suits you. Perhaps if everyone else meant it that way, it would not be so terrible a title. Rumpel slowly takes his hand away and smiles. Though he insists on hearing me out, I insist on the opposite. For now, I want to keep what I discussed with Parfait and Delora to myself. I need time to process it. For tonight, I just want to forget that the conversation ever happened. For some time, the two of us are silent. There are no words exchanged between the two of us, but the silence is comfortable. But then, eventually, Rumpel puts a hand on my shoulder. Things will work out, Princess. I hope so. I stand and excuse myself. Good night, Rumpel. I turn and walk away. Good night, my sweet princess. Chapter 7, Muddled Truths. And you, my little sunflower, are just as radiant as always. Oh my, Rumpel. It's like that whole thing with Bria never happened. He is back to flattering every woman he meets. Overthinking again, Princess? I turn to see Karma grinning at me from where he sits at a table. Surprisingly, he is sitting with Jurian and Garland today, who are arguing about some kind of knight stance. It is none of your business. No, it's not, but you have such a sad look on your face I had to ask. I appreciate you not staring at my face. I don't need to stare to see that you're in distress. I turn on my heels and begin to walk away, irritated. Even when I'm among other people, it is impossible to forget the conversation I had with Parfait and Delora. It hovers at the back of my mind constantly. We have not spoken again since then, yet even now, I am still taking in what they told me before. My mother, the Tenebrarum bearer, and me, a witch, the reason others have always feared me because of my blood. I suppress a sigh as I attempt to return to my work. As the days go by, I notice myself becoming more and more agitated. Half of it is the recent history lesson, and the other half is Rumpel's flirting with other women. How can he just snap his fingers and get over Bria so quickly? If he flatters every woman, does that mean he does not really mean the things he says to me? I gather the plates off the counter, put them on a tray and take them to the customers. Today, everything feels mechanical. For the last few days, I have been noticing that I walk more stiffly, and that if I walk too quickly, my vision blurs. Probably because of my overthinking. I stumble as I bring a tray to a familiar customer. The man looks up at me and asks if I'm okay, and I murmur that I am before walking off. The blurriness comes back. What is wrong with me? I look over at Rumpel, who is at a table with two girls because the shift is over. Rather than boil over on the inside, I feel myself getting warmer on the outside. My skin feels clammy. I have to force myself to take a breath as I get the next round of orders. My last order for the day is for one of the girls at Rumpel's table. I don't even want to go over there. I start carrying the tray towards the table, biting down on my lip as the sway comes back into my step. As I draw closer, I notice Rumpel and the girls laughing about something. I grit my teeth and pause in front of them to lay down the tray. This isn't mine, it's my friend's. Yes, I was the one who ordered the soup. The two stare at me. Instead of handing the soup off, they wait for me to move the bowl. But before I can reach over to move it, Rumpel slides it over to the other girl himself. For a few moments, there's a fragment of a scowl on his face. How are you doing today, my sweet princess? When I think about speaking, the words catch feebly in my throat. I turn to walk off. Princess? Still as cold as ice. The title Ice Princess definitely suits her. How can you dote on her, Rumpel? Despite the numbness in my mind, I still feel angry. I turn around so quickly that I make myself stumble. I feel myself teetering, on the edge of falling, but something stops me. Warm hands reach out to grab mine before I can fall. Through my dizziness, I can see Rumpel standing in front of me. Princess, look at me. He puts a hand under my chin and angles my head so I can see him better. The expression on his face is suddenly serious. He looks at me for a few moments before he places a hand on my forehead. Princess, you have a fever. A really high fever, actually. You should go back to your room and rest. I'll drop by with some medication in a few minutes after I say goodbye to these ladies. I am fine! My voice comes out hoarse. Trying to clear my throat only makes me feel more miserable. Princess, you're not fine. You look like you're about to collapse. I will not collapse. I am stronger than that. Mother taught me how to be strong. Mother. My thoughts become scrambled. Once again, my mind wanders. But this time I cannot keep myself steady as I try to walk away. Putting one foot in front of the other proves to be too difficult, and I once again feel myself start to stumble. Then I feel the warmth, this time arms instead of hands. Sweet little princess, what am I going to do with you? Oh, goodness. Before I can understand what is happening, I am lifted off my feet. I feel an arm supporting my back and another supporting me beneath the crook of my knees. Warmth! Such a nice warmth! You really are stubborn, aren't you, Princess Melody? I guess I'll have to carry you up myself. I'm gonna struggle. I cannot just let him carry me up like this. I attempt to move away from him, but my whole body is weak. It is all I can do to try to roll out of his arms, but even that doesn't work. If you fall, you'll get a bump on your head, you know. I am not weak. I do not need anyone taking care of me. There are voices, an indistinct chattering behind him that belongs to the girls. Rumpel speaks in a low voice. Stubborn she may be, but my sweet princess is stronger than any other woman I've ever known. He pulls me closer to him, and I feel his chest at my head, then his heartbeat. I know you're strong, princess, stronger than anyone else even, but because you are so strong, I know you'll never admit to needing help. That's why I'm going to help you without your permission. I'm sorry. Slowly, I let myself settle in his arms. I lean my head into his chest and listen to his heartbeat. It is a gentle, sweet sound that makes me feeling like drifting into slumber. So warm. But not as warm as you are right now, princess. His voice slowly begins to fade out as I close my eyes. For the time being, I stop caring about everything else around me. I forget about Mother, about my talk with Delora and Parfait, about the crystal, the margin, and I focus on Rumpel. Is it so selfish to want to be the only person held like this by him, even when he was engaged to someone before? Slumber slowly reaches up to claim me, darkness intermingling with warmth. In that last moment, I think I see Rumpel smile at me. Mother, I have to tell you about the fairy tale that the children read to me today. Melody, what did I tell you about the fairy tales? But there was a princess just like me. She found her Prince Charming and... Fairy tales are not real. But they make really good stories, Mother. They are false stories. Do you really think it would be so easy to live happily ever after? No, but fairy tales make things black and white. Real life is full of grays. Black and white? Good and evil. No one is totally evil, and no one is totally good. Even princes are not completely just. So princes and princesses can be bad? Melody, everyone has darkness to them. The princes that throw themselves into danger are not selfless. They seek wealth, fame, or power. You see, fairy tales are lies because no one is so selfless. It's so full of love. People are two-faced. Trust no one. Yes, Mother. No one will love you like I do. To find pure love like that is impossible. I slowly blink my eyes open. For a few moments the room is blurry, and there is nothing but vivid colors before my eyes. My eyes feel heavy, my throat scratchy. I stifle a cough as I blink back tears, and then through my tears I notice a slight motion. Rumpel? Rumpel is slumped in a chair in front of my bed, his head lolled to the side, his eyes closed. He murmurs something in his sleep, and then shifts. What's he doing here? I notice a notebook in his lap. What is that journal? I slowly slide my hand out from underneath the covers and reach across the bed. Right as my fingers are about to brush the cover, Rumpel's hand suddenly falls on mine. Looks like you're feeling better. He pulls his hand away along with the book, before carefully setting my hand back down on the covers. At least you look better, but how do you feel? Better. Rumpel looks tired, but his smile is still there. Oh, I won't believe it until I see it. You just said I looked better. That's my own analysis, but you, my sweet princess, don't sound very convinced. My throat is a little sore, and I think if I stood up I would fall over. Why do you look so surprised? You would usually never admit to such a thing, would you? You're still most definitely sick. Rumpel leans forward to put a hand on my forehead. His hand is cool on my hot skin. Our eyes lock as he tests my temperature. After a few moments, he finally peels his eyes away from me and sits back in the chair. Your temperature is down, but you definitely need the rest, Princess. You should go back to sleep. And what, will you just sit there and watch me? The words come out curter than I mean them to, and for a few moments Rumpel looks surprised. Then he laughs. Princess, I haven't just been staring at you. I've been writing in my journal too. You have such a scary look on your face. Not that it isn't enticing, but I think your smiles are much better. I sigh as I close my eyes for a few moments. I fight to put my scrambled thoughts together, but one thought in particular keeps resurfacing. For some reason, I cannot help but remember the snide women standing by Rumpel's side, jeering at me earlier. I open my eyes and look at Rumpel. Those women from earlier! Oh, right. I apologize for their impoliteness. The things they said to you were uncalled for, and I told them that. You flirt with women like that all the time. But why? They are not even good people. Not good people? But, oh well, I suppose they act differently when you're there. Princess Melody, you're blind to their jealousy, aren't you? They're jealous of me? Why? My mind turns over what they could possibly be jealous about as my eyes fall on Rumpel. I remember the way he defended me to the women. Is it because you're my partner? It's a lot more than that. It's your grace, the noble way you carry yourself. They would never think I have those qualities. But where else would their jealousy stem from? They are just jealous that I take your attention away from them. Princess, I think you're... Even if they were nice people, I do not see how you could flirt with them when you were just recently in love with someone else. Normally I would stop talking, but the words continued tumbling out of me. I do not understand how someone like you, who had a fiancé, could still be flirting with girls. How can you love someone if all you do is flirt with other girls? Flattery is one thing, but you cannot just flatter every girl. Why are you still smiling at me? I may not remember a lot of things, Princess, but I know for certain that whatever feelings I had for Bria vanished a long time ago. The good ones, at least. Rumpel! The words break apart as I start coughing. Don't rile yourself up over this. Please, rest. I slowly lean back into my pillows with eyes half closed. Why do I even care about what Rumpel does? Why does it bother me that he flirts with other girls? That is his business. Rumpel pulls the covers closer to my chin and smiles. Just because I flatter other women, that doesn't mean that I can't love someone. You always say some woman has stolen your heart, or some woman has stolen your heart, but your heart cannot belong to everyone. Yet you told me you always speak the truth. Maybe that in itself was a little white lie, just some harmless dramatics. But most girls know that I am being dramatic, Princess. They don't take my words seriously, even if I do mean my compliments. He stares at me for a few moments, thoughtful. Does it bother you so much that I compliment other girls? Of course not! Though it will be difficult to hold my tongue, I will do it for you, Princess, so don't worry. Why would he do something like that for me? My eyes are suddenly so heavy I have no choice but to close them as I let out a deep sigh. My head is beginning to hurt again. Behind my closed eyelids, I can hear a soft shuffle as Rumpel moves in his chair. Right before I fall back into the darkness of sleep, I feel something warm and soft on my forehead. Rumpel? A goodnight kiss. His words are quiet, and I can only just barely make them out. I cannot think on them because the pull of sleep is much too tempting. Aww! This was a really cute episode. But I am all out of time for this one, guys. So if you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up down below. And if you haven't already, subscribe. By subscribing, you're becoming part of a legacy. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye!